If the first game was already a challenge, what made us think the sequel would be any easier? Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 video game sequels way harder than the original. I'm Todd Haberkorn, and I'm not sure about the hardest sequel, but certainly my favorite sequel of all time is Terminator 2. Technically not a video game, but video games were made of it. Does that count? Am I foreshadowing a future where I do cinema-related lists? Hashtag, let's hope so.
Let's get ready to Mojo!
Number 10, Fallout 2.
If you survive, come back to me. We will talk more. Our life is in your hands, Chosen One. Prove yourself. Find the Gek. Be our salvation.
Before Fallout became the first-person RPG shooter we know today, it was a turn-based RPG with an isometric 2D view, and it was frickin' hard. As if the first game wasn't difficult already, Fallout 2 remembered it was set in a post-apocalyptic world and decided that everything should try to kill you. In other words, it was set in Australia. I mean, there were more random encounters with tougher enemies. Love you, Australia. Love Gold Coast. Woo! Obviously, having a solid character build wasn't going to be enough, and you likely had to do some grinding to survive the hostile wasteland.
War never changes.
Number 9, Super Star Wars. The Empire Strikes Back. Remember how unreasonably hard Super Star Wars was? And how weak the lightsaber was? Well, guess what? They made a sequel. It may have reused most of the same tricks its predecessor employed, but it also decided to make them 10 times more frustrating. Wait, carry the 1, 2, 3. Yes, 10 times. Enemies rapidly spawn from outside the screen, and even as you're hitting them, they can still attack you. That Wampa should not be able to freeze us after getting struck with a lightsaber. In the end, progression all depends on your reflexes and memorization of the level's layout. If you don't think there's going to be a quiz about this later, you are wrong. See me after class. You know what? On second thought, Dark Souls is starting to seem way more fair. Number 8, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. One of the most exciting yet challenging parts of the first Legend of Zelda was not knowing where to go. This allowed the player to explore on their own and figure things out for themselves. Zelda 2 similarly left players to find their own way, but also upped the difficulty of the map with the addition of enemy encounters that can randomly spawn. Not every encounter is overwhelming, but when it is, you're dead. You don't want to hear me rant about how much BS you have to go through in Death Mountain. That's still a game I haven't beat. Don't shame me for it. Number 7, Resident Evil 2.
We're leaving this place together. Wait here for me. I'll be right back.
I'm in the current gen reboot of it. Listen for me. As if our favorite zombie shooter wasn't stressful enough, what with all the puzzles, scarce ammunition, and jump scares, Resident Evil 2 just had to go and push us to our limits. Push it to the limit. Seriously, if we could barely hold our own against a couple of zombies, what made Capcom think we could handle even more of them? Adding to the distress is just how claustrophobic the areas can get. You're constantly under the risk of getting trapped in a corner and possibly wasting precious ammunition. So you're going to need to decide when to shoot and when to simply run past everything. Random question, am I now considered a certified botanist if I know how to mix green herbs and red herbs? Asking for a friend. Number 6, Middle-earth, Shadow of War. Ignoring the loot box elephant in the room, Middle-earth, Shadow of War turned out to be much harder than its predecessor. We mean that in a good way. When you're invading a fortress, you are constantly being bombarded by minions. No matter how many you kill, they just keep on coming. The Nemesis feature, on the other hand, makes fights against captains especially grueling. When you encounter someone you fought before, they'll return at a higher level along with a few new upgrades. This forces the player to rethink strategies while keeping fights tough, but fair, for the most part. At least there's more enemy variety than there was in Shadow of Mordor.
I'm just gonna leave you there, and when I'm good and ready, I'm gonna come back, and I'll kill both of you!
Number 5, System Shock 2.
Run.
Between the original and its iconic sequel, most System Shock fans will tell you the second game is an absolute nightmare. Just how difficult is this sci-fi horror fest? Well, let's just say that you really need to be damn good at shooters. Even when it's set to the easiest difficulty, System Shock 2 is taxing.
Can I help you? No need to
For starters, it's going to take more than a single headshot to keep enemies at bay. Oh, and did we mention that you won't have much ammo to work with? Ammunition is insanely hard to come by, and it's difficult figuring out how to conserve bullets when enemies are assaulting you.
Your flesh will welcome us.
Jeez, Shodan, can you let up for just a second? 1 second. Wait. Where are you going?
But that system won't come online until you reset all codes. Keep an eye out. They're mobilizing their real forces, and they know exactly where you are.
Number 4, XCOM 2.
We're seeing heavy civilian casualties, Commander. We have to stop this.
This is a game that's guaranteed to turn the happiest person into a living hurricane of rage and fury. Whether you're playing offense or defense, your soldiers will constantly be at the mercy of RNGesus. Think that enemy can't hit you from that distance? Well, there goes half of your health. Think you can get a guaranteed hit by standing next to an enemy? Nah, you only have 50% chance to land a hit. Needless to say, the RNG is so relentless and unforgiving that you'll be throwing the controller by your third mission. I guarantee it. Hope you enjoy your ass getting tenderized by the aliens as they prep you for an anal probe, because the punishment just does not stop. Number 3, Ninja Gaiden 2. The name alone says it all. We mean, come on, this is the sequel to Ninja freaking Gaiden we're talking about. While the 1990 platformer of the same name was insanely challenging, its modern duplicate is on a whole other astral plane of hack and slash madness. After all, you had to really work for your kills in this game. Dismemberment did not mean death, and ignoring crippled enemies left you liable for an insta-kill sucker punch. It certainly didn't help that the camera was occasionally frustrating in how it focused on Ryu. Occasionally having to guess where your enemies were coming from, and occasionally having to completely restart levels over because you died. Gaiden rant complete.
We have the woman. I expected more, you Hayabusa.
Number 2, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. As we've seen from the likes of Zelda 2, a change in gameplay style can certainly up the difficulty. Castlevania went through a similar phase. Whereas the first game kept things linear, Simon's Quest went for an open world-like design. As interesting as this was, it left many players lost in the dark. You see what I did there? The The game gives you very little guidance as to where you're supposed to go, which may lead you to start wandering aimlessly or talking to every NPC you meet. Basically, you're gonna need to do some thorough exploration in order to progress. Of course, there's always the internet, that lovely, lovely, squishy, marshmallowy place. But it was a different time back then. Geocities.com? Netscape, anyone?
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business.
Number 1. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, aka Super Mario Bros. 2. You know what I've had stuck in my head for the past 3 days? Ugh. It's perhaps the most infamous game under the Super Mario banner. While originally set to be the official global sequel to the iconic Plumber's debut, the game didn't end up coming to the West due to Nintendo feeling like audiences wouldn't be able to wrap their heads around it. They may have had a point. The Lost Levels throws everything it can at the player and then some. You can expect warp pipes that may set you back further from the goal, bottomless pits that required pixel-perfect jumps to pass, not to mention constantly being pressed for time. So instead, we got the Doki Doki Panic version. Thanks for the save, Nintendo.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.